everybody? Back again with another video, and this time we are looking at another tactical pistol. Yes, you guessed it. It is the FN FNX-45 Tactical. Those of you guys that know me and have been watching my videos know that I'm a huge sucker for FN's pistols. Not just any other pistols, but specifically their tactical lineup. Because I still believe that when it comes to all purposes of a pistol, I can't say all, most purposes of a pistol, I think that FN checks the most boxes of any other pistol manufacturer. Here's what I mean by that. Unless you are looking for a carry pistol, which obviously this is way too damn big to carry, unless you got guts like that. You're looking for a few different things. Namely, you're looking for reliability. You're looking for capacity. You're looking for features that are in line with what you're comfortable with or with what your idea of what's going to give you an advantage is. So when you're looking for those things, not many pistol makers have caught up to FN. And it's kind of weird considering that FN has been making these things for quite a long time now. So the FNX-45 Tactical, I believe it came out around 2012. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's been several years since this thing first came out. Now, what made this thing special was, first off, it was one of the first pistols that already had a slide cutout for an RMR or a red dot optic. Okay. Now, today in 2021, we're seeing that sort of as a norm or as a standard for most pistols. But these guys, again, were ahead of the game when it came to knowing that the market was going to start demanding more of these red dot placements on their pistols, because why not? It makes you faster. It makes you more capable of hitting your shots when they matter most without having to think. Now, I know that some people still argue that looking for your sight picture using your irons is a lot easier for them for whatever reason. But for me, so long as your muscle memory has already picked up on being able to immediately lift your gun and know where that dot's going to be, it's the same thing as learning how to use your irons and speed and shoot for speed. But if you know where exactly the angle of the muzzle of your pistol is supposed to be when you first lift your gun, you're already going to pick up that dot. So that argument about it being easier because your muscle memory is already trained you to look at all of these focal points with the rear sight and the front sight post of these irons. And for whatever reason, that does not translate into you being able to do the same with a dot that's right there in line with those iron sights. It makes zero sense to me. I understand that initially some people do have a hard time with picking up that red dot. However, I believe that with enough just training on literally just lifting your gun to your, just getting it in line with your eyesight. Just that one action over and over and over again gets you like within a couple hours to where you need to be to know exactly how high and what angle you're supposed to have this thing lifted at. So anyways, the whole red dot, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but the red dot argument to me is dead. Red dots are the way to go on any pistol. Capacity, that was another area where this thing flourished, because it is still to this day, in terms of a standard magazine, I'm not talking about any type of extended magazine, but standard capacity magazines on this thing are 15 rounds of 40 fucking 5. And it's not humongous. Okay, it's a big, thick gun, no doubt, but this is not anything bigger than any Glock 21 or, you know, any HK45, like it's going to feel very similar in terms of the grip itself and the width of the grip. They do a good job of giving you different back straps if you need to go a little bit thinner or a little bit wider, but it's not going to feel any different in terms of just the thickness overall. And yet you are gaining 3 extra rounds over the Glock. You are gaining 5 extra rounds over the HK, and you're getting it in the same profile as the other two. Reliability. This is a hammer fired pistol. Okay. Now say what you will about striker versus hammer fired, but I'm a fan of both. I think that there's definitely a reason to have one of each. I think each has its place, and this is definitely a reliable pistol. It's not really just because of the hammer. It's just because FN doesn't make garbage. And this is another thing about FN. It seems to me that FN is one of those manufacturers that focuses on the civilian last and focuses on military first. Okay. Now, the nice thing about that is that typically what happens with one of their firearms is that they create it for a military purpose. If it's something like this, where this was actually in the trials to be the replacement pistol for the Beretta M9, and they didn't end up going with this pistol. However, again, it was built for that purpose, and then it started to funnel down into the civilian market. When you look at the FN SCAR, you look at the FN S2000, you look at the P90 or the PS90. All of these firearms were built to serve a military purpose, and they just funneled their way down to civilian use. And in some cases, it kind of took forever to get some of them down to the civilian market, but they don't think civilian first. And if we should be so lucky to get a military contract, let's see if one of our civilian models can warrant that contract. It's the opposite. It's, you know, when they were looking for a firearm, what is it that their purpose was? What is their goal? And how are we going to build a firearm to suit these needs? And if it's good enough for the military, obviously it's good enough for us. This pistol comes with a lot of features, and that's another box. So besides the slide cut for the RMR, all right, you've got ambi everything on this pistol. You've got an ambi mag release on both sides. You've got an ambi safety, okay? And the safety also has a decocker. So this is fire, obviously, safe, and decock, all right? Really, really cool if you're ever going to carry this out, obviously outside the waistband. But if you ever needed to carry this for whatever reason, if it's for duty use or whatever, nice feature to have. You could have it decocked and with no safety on, and you have a nice double action pull at that point. Or you can carry it, you know, just balls to the wall, freaking clocked and ready to rock. So it's a really cool, you know, feature that you get all these different options of how to carry this thing if you're going to do so. But you've got that ambi safety, you've got the ambi mag release, you've got the ambi slide release on both sides. Nice and big. I mean, it's not humongous, so it's not going to get caught up on anything. However, it's big enough to be able to actually feel it out with your finger without having to take your eyes off your target. It's right where it needs to be. Just a smart design. It's got an excellent trigger, okay? It's not a competition trigger. It is not the lightest of triggers. It is definitely a battle trigger. However, it's very, very smooth, okay? Now, I'm going to show you guys what this trigger pull looks like. So right off the bat, right now it's in single action. You can see that the trigger is moved back just quite a little bit. Now, if you pull, you've got about 2.5, maybe 3 millimeters of take up, and a little bit of slop, just a tiny bit, maybe another 2 millimeters. You get a wall, and there it goes. The reset, is pretty long, not gonna lie. So that's about 5 millimeters of reset travel. Then you have to pull that extra 2 until you get to that wall again, and it breaks. Not the greatest, but definitely smooth, especially when you're actually firing it. I've always kind of had the notion that there are 2 types of triggers: the triggers that feel really good when you're dry firing them, but for whatever reason it just doesn't translate when you're out there on the range trying to get your accuracy down. And then there are the triggers that don't feel that great when you're dry firing, but for whatever reason they're easy to anticipate and predict when you're at the range. This kind of falls in that category. It's also a very smooth shooting gun. This thing shoots, I would say, more like a 40 than a 45. It's got a lot of weight to it, and maybe that kind of helps out. But ultimately, it shoots very, very smooth for a 45. You'll definitely know, you'll feel it, that it's a 45. It's not going to shoot like a 9, but it's definitely going to be a lot smoother than the 45s that you're used to. Capacity, reliability, features, all right? And you've got magazines available everywhere. They're not that expensive. You get 2 of them now. They used to get 3, a few years back when you bought one of these, but for whatever reason, they've cut it down to 2 magazines that you get, but they're still 15-round magazines, and it kind of is a perfect companion to the FN 509 Tactical. All right, so again, same kind of theme. You guys have heard me talk until I'm blue in the face about this gun and how much I love it and how it's my go-to pistol. And it's been my favorite pistol by far that I've ever purchased. 24 rounds of 9, okay? Same exact things that I mentioned about the FN FNX-45 Tactical, I mentioned about this thing. So feature set, reliability, capacity, it's all there. All there. All there. So great guns. Great guns. I'll be honest with you guys. When I was back in the market for a 45, I was looking, because I've owned this a few times before. And I always loved it, but I got bored and I was just like, all right, let's see what else is out there. Now I was back in the market for a 45 and I was like, okay, it's been years now. There has to be something that can compete with this. There has to be something that is a badass tactical 45 that can check at least almost all those boxes. But I looked and I looked and I looked, and guess what? This is still king. All right. So sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. FN did a fucking hell of a job with this gun. I still say that this is the best tactical 45 on the market today. The HK 45 Tactical does not even come close. You don't get the suppressor raised night sights with the HK. You don't get the RMR cutout with the HK. You get 5 less rounds with the HK. The Glocks, you have to do a shit ton of work to get it up to this level. And again, not worth it, in my opinion. This is the king right here. This is the king. And until somebody else comes out and says, hey, FN did a great job, and it seems to be a pistol that's loved by just about everybody. Why can't we just make another 45 that's reminiscent of the FNX-45? Give people more capacity. Who knows? We could extend a magazine out like the FN 509. It doesn't have to go that, that far down, but still, add another 2 rounds, add another 3 rounds. It can be done. I guarantee it can be done. And, all the other stuff that's on here, again, it's not rocket science. Why isn't anybody else making these things or making something that's going to compete with this thing? I don't know. If one of you guys knows, by all means, let me know in the comments section. But Surefire X300 Ultra on this thing. RMR Type 2. This is the 3.25 MOA dot. Perfect setup right here, man. Perfect. You don't need anything else. This thing is a fucking 1,000 lumens. So if you can't shoot them to death, you can blind them to death. But I'm telling you guys, if you're in the market for a 45, now you can look at a lot of different types of pistols, obviously, okay? This is not a 1911. 1911s are gorgeous guns that fire like a dream, all right? This is not a compact 45 by any means. This is not a competition pistol. This is a tactical shit hits the fan type pistol, all right? Perfect for the bedside, perfect for home defense. If you're looking for something like that specifically for that purpose, I'm telling you, you're not going to find anything else that could beat this thing. If you have any opinions on what is a better option, you know, some of you guys might pull out the HK USP 45 again. Great gun, doesn't have these features, okay? I need these features in a pistol. I'm at this point way too fucking crazed off of these pistols having all this shit that you can put on them to not have that option with a modern day pistol. So unless it's going to have all that stuff available, if it's going to have the slide cut already for the RMR, if it's going to have a crap ton of capacity, if it's going to have a bit of pit grill to be able to put your lights or lasers on, you know, the suppressor for me is not that big of a deal. So even if it doesn't have the threaded barrel, no big deal. But I'm telling you, man, I can't find anything better than this thing. All right. Great gun all around. If you guys have any questions, comments, please leave them in the comments section. I've been getting a lot of great interaction from the other videos, so keep them coming, guys. Hit that notification bell. I will see you guys on the next. Take care, everybody. Peace.